two pocket stoves. The first one is the MSR Micro Rocket. The MSR Micro Rocket cost me $60. I splurged on myself. It weighs 122 grams, and it claims to boil water in 3.5 minutes. It's constructed of brass, stainless steel, and aluminum, and supposedly you can boil 16 liters of water per 227 gram bottle of isopropane or whatever's in that red can. We're going to compare this to the Primus Classic Trail, which is a $19 stove that I bought for my daughter because I was sure she was going to lose it on a camping trip. It weighs substantially more at 227 grams, but claims a faster boil time of 3 minutes. It's constructed out of stainless and brass, so no aluminum there. And it claims 15 liters of water per 227 gram fuel can. So in order to make this experiment even, I've measured out 16 liters of water, 16 ounces of water into a MSI Minimalist pot. And I've allowed it to sit at room temperature. I've also got 16 ounces in the bottle behind it, which we'll use for the second boil test. So the Micro Rocket is one of these foldy stoves, and it actually is a bit of a puzzle to put it together the first time, but once you figure it out, it's not so bad. It's got three support prongs. Just rotate them up. And you'll notice I'm using a stand for the propane canister. I find that just makes it a lot more stable, particularly if you get a larger pot. And we get that screwed on here. And I guess we probably need something to light this. The Micro Rocket actually comes with a Piezo electric igniter, which the first one I had didn't work at all. I took it back and had it exchanged. And the second one didn't work any better, so I've basically thrown it in a drawer. I don't use it. So I'm just going to light this up. You can see it's quite a torch. The nice thing about the Micro Rocket is it's quite adjustable. I read online some people didn't think it was that adjustable. I've actually got it to do some pretty fine cooking, so I'm quite pleased with it. So the methodology I'm going to use here, because I don't want to flame this high, I'm going to turn on what looks like high, put the pot on, set the timer, and when I make this video, we'll put it on fast forward so you're not bored to death watching this. So that looks about high to me. I'll put that on the stove and press start. Crank the volume up a little more. I may have to reposition here a little bit so you can see it. So we're at the 1 minute mark now. No sign of boiling yet. The stoves are a little noisy, but not terrible. So we're at 2 minutes and 20 seconds or so. We're just starting to get a few bubbles forming in the water. We'll see if it makes the claimed 3.5 minutes. So we've hit the 3.5 minute mark. We're not quite boiling yet, but I can hear that it wants to. I think it'll probably be another 30 seconds or so before we get this to a decent, what I would call a rolling boil. And I'm going to call it there at 4:35. I'm just trying to pick up the camera, show you what the water's doing here. That was what we were looking for. So it did take a little longer. I'm going to turn this off. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. So MSR on the website that I bought this from claimed a 3.5 minute boil time, but they didn't say how much water. So as you can see in this test, we took 4 minutes and 35 seconds. with the MSI Minimalist. That's an aluminum pot. So I'm going to use the included pot lifter and dump this out. I'll let everything cool down and try it again with the other stove. Back in a minute. Alright, and we're back. So it's about a half hour later. I just wanted everything to cool down to room temperature. So the first thing we're going to do is refill our pot with 16 ounces of room temperature water. The second test will be with the Primus Classic. So the main difference with this one is, as you can see, it's physically a little bigger. Some assembly required. This actually, you have to thread it together. If you don't take it apart, it won't fit in the included bag. So we just thread these two pieces together like that. Make sure it's off. And put it on the top of the fuel can. Now, functionally, I like this a little better because it's got a better pot support. Just turn that around so you can see it. And of course, I keep forgetting to bring my illumination device. Should always have a lighter in my pocket, I suppose. So this one's got a bit larger flame. I'll just turn it on a little and we'll light her up. A little easier to light because the flame source is closer to the outside. So we still got the time from the last one. We'll reset that. So the MSR Micro Rocket took 4 minutes and 35 seconds. So we'll reset and we'll get this at a good steamy crank. Put her on the top and hit the start button. So we're at the 2-minute mark, just starting to get a few bubbles forming on the sides. Shouldn't be long now, I wouldn't think. So you'll notice this pot is a little narrower than probably what this stove is intended for. You can see a bit of the flames going up the side. I'm not sure if that makes any difference or not, but we'll see what happens. Remember, this one had a 3-minute boil time claim, and it's still got a chance of making it. So we're just past 3 minutes. We're almost there. It really wants to get into that rolling boil. I suspect in the next 10 or 15 seconds we'll probably be there. And I will pause the timer and give you a shot of the results. And I'm going to call that done. Quick look. Nice rolling boil. We'll turn this off and let everything cool down. So I guess to wrap up the review, the question is the Micro Rocket worth $60 more than the Primus Classic Trail? And I guess that depends a lot on you. The Micro Rocket is certainly very refined. It folds up very compact, and I can actually fit it in my pot with the smaller propane canister. So that is an advantage. It comes with a little plastic case that I recommend you throw away, and the Piezo igniter didn't work. So $60. It did take longer to do the boil test, about a minute longer than the Primus. And I actually think the Primus has got a better support for the stand. Sorry, for the pot. Although it's a little larger. It's probably better for a larger pot size. But at $20, you can't go wrong with this. I think it's a great deal. According to the specs, it probably uses a little more propane, but it does boil things more quickly. And yeah, I don't know that there's $40 worth of value in this little guy, other than perhaps the low adjustability on the low settings. If that is part of your use case, it might be worthwhile for you. But in this case, I think that it's actually $19. The Primus Classic Trail is, if I had to go out and buy one today, that's what I would get. Thanks for watching.